morning and welcome to today's edition of the newspaper review here on MAJO Television Network. Today, Thursday, November 6th, 2025. I am Charles Akudo, broadcasting from our digital television studio here in Akure, Ondo State, Nigeria. Well, we start and we take our headlines today from the Hope newspaper. The Hope newspaper is a very popular newspaper here in Akure, Ondo State. The headlines read, over 1 million out-of-school children are being re-enrolled nationwide. As the minister says, Ayedatiwa champions education and reform and backs the federal government's digital learning. We go over to the next headline. Education Minister unveiled digital, data-driven education, teachers and licensing reforms of Nigeria to gain 1.7 working mothers with affordable child care. Now the next headline reads, Ondo set for economic boom as Ayedatiwa foreign partners seals $50 billion deal. I'll fight for my children. Regina Daniel breaks silence on the marriage crisis. Now that's all we have for the Hope newspaper. We go on to the Punch newspaper with the headlines. Power showdown. Wike blocks defiant as the PDP BOT insists on convention. PDP faction locks secretariat as the BOT and Wike camps hold rival meetings, predicted mass US visa, green card and revocation. Soyinka. Donald Trump's threats. The federal government engages diplomats and rallies military commanders. We go on to the next headline. 15% import and tariff could make Nigeria fuel producing powerhouse, says refiners. Now, we go on to the next headline, the next newspaper headline, which is the Guardian newspaper. With the headlines reading, referendum calls heightens over elitist constitution reform plots. Again, the federal government rejects the CPC and tag as Falana dismisses Trump's genocide claim. Stop celebrating worthless GDP figures. Osibanjo warns African government. The BOT backs Damangum as Abiodun Raham leads PDP and suspends convention. Now we go on to the next headline, our next newspaper headline, which is the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. With that, the headlines read, the federal government, Nigeria winning war against terrorism, ready to partner with Tinubu and the Sultan, Uzodimma, other eminent persons for editors. Now, conference why the reps threatened showdown over Tinubu's request for 1.150 trillion naira on a fresh loan. Now, the next headline, demand full implementation of the 2024 capital project. 30% of the 2025 project, Senate in shock over $300 billion crude oil sales losses. Now we go on to the Vanguard newspaper with the headlines, foreign lobbyists fueling genocide claims in Nigeria, says the federal government. Nigeria's $2.3 billion euro bonds massively oversubscribed in excess of $1.65 billion. Now, ASU accuses the minister of misleading Nigerians. He threatens to resume strike Nigeria's telecom subscribers hit 173.5 million as broadband as penetration reaches a whopping 49.3%. Now, we move on to the next newspaper headline, which comes from the Daily Sun. Tinubu has political will to fight terrorism, says the federal government. Says Nigeria confronting complex security challenges, not religious persecution. Again, false tagging of countries on speculations of religious persecution. So Worry accuses the federal government of planning death sentence or life imprisonment for Nnamdi Kanu. Edo is kidnapped, seminarian, and dies in captivity. The Senate moved to phase out petrol cars as Kalu's electric car vehicle bill passes the second reading. Now we go on into the world of sports from the Punch Sports Extra. First blood on Yachu Okoye. Asimiru top list as 7 players Chile may consider for the World Cup playoff test. Bash Ali confirms November 22nd ring return. Ugandan coach unfazed by the Eagles star ahead of the AFCON. I am not romantic, says Cristiano Ronaldo. Remember, education and inspire others. Share knowledge, mentor the youths, and promote civic value in your community. Patriotism grows, and when it is grown, it is passed on. I remain your humble host for today, Charles Akudo, signing off here on MAJO Television Network. Have a great day. Thank you.